Hey, welcome to Genre Exposure, a film podcast. Join us as we explore the wide world of cinema, broaden our horizons one movie at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Dustin, and as usual, I am here with Michael.
Hey, everybody.
And Jason.
Hey, everyone.
For the first time in a long time, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing good. Doing better now that Michael's sitting with us.
Hey.
Yes.
Man, we missed you.
Hey.
Your warmth fills up the room. This is our special guest that I teased but did not reveal to not jinx us again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No shit happened. No, everything is actually pretty calm at my house right now. I just fucked it up right now.
Yeah, don't tell him what's going on now.
But
Also my birthday, so this must be a birthday miracle.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
I came in my birthday suit just for your birthday.
That's the present after we record.
Yeah, no, it's happening right now.
Uh-oh.
Now, you could have waited to get naked until you got here instead of driving naked.
I was hoping I got pulled over. I was just like, ooh, please.
That's your thing now?
Uh-oh, officer.
I seem to have forgotten my pants.
But yeah, we set this up. There were certain genres that if it was all possible, you had to deal back in on, and science fiction is one of them.
Hell yeah.
So we are continuing our block with Michael's pick, Moon, from 2009, directed by Duncan Jones.
And I had a lot of trouble picking, so we'll see what you guys thought.
I
Okay.
think there's some interesting parallels to Quiet Earth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But first, we're going to do all our usual stuff. We're going to talk about what we've been watching. I've got a shout out and also a correction for the prior episode.
We were wrong about something?
No, I basically made a promise I didn't pay out on. So at the start of the episode, I had
Add that to the list of promises he hasn't paid out on.
I know.
Thank
Fuck
you
me,
very
right?
much, yeah.
So I brought that film book and I said I was going to read their entry on Quiet Earth. And then 2 hours later, when we were exhausted, I forgot to do that.
Right.
So real quick summary of what the person that made that book thought was, it's a good film, it's a compelling film, but it's not like a masterpiece. So it's pretty much right about where we were.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were. Yeah.
Fun times. So our shout out. This got brought to my attention and I thought I would share it on here. Since we've been covering Indian cinema on and off now and again, and we recently did one, Monica Oh My Darling. So obviously, I think for all three of us, that's like a new frontier in general. And maybe we're still not totally sure where we fall, but there's been some good,
I like
some bad.
Monica a lot.
Yeah.
Toonbad was really good, too.
Yeah. I mean,
13B.
it's no 13B. Look at it.
Less said. But no, I brought to the attention of this author who does books on Indian cinema. His name's Balaji Vital, and he wrote a book about R.D. Burman, who's like a very famous film-related individual for Indian cinema. And his most recent book, which has a killer title, is Pure Evil, The Bad Men of Bollywood. And it's all about chronicling like all the like major villains and sort of like bad characters that have cropped up over the years throughout Bollywood cinema and kind of like breaking them down and their roles and their stories and stuff like that.
That's fun.
Love books on film, and that's a good direction to look in if you're wanting to learn more about Indian cinema. I'm probably going to pick one or two of those up and check them out myself.
Cool.
Expand my knowledge a little bit,
There you
because
go.
yeah, I'm still like I've dug a lot of the ones we've watched on here, so I'm wanting to go more, and I think maybe a book would help orient that. So yeah,
Books on film.
yeah.
Books on film.
Balaji Vital, look him up, check out his books. I noticed they were on Amazon, so it seems pretty easy and accessible.
You were singing that in your head too, right?
Not until you did it.
Oh. Well, as soon as he said books on film, it was just like,
No. I mean, I get it now, but yeah.
So with that out
It's
of
good
the
to have
way,
you back, Michael, even for one episode.
getting us our copy strikes, just like we
Yep.
want.
"Yeah, you're welcome. It's been too safe for you all."
It's okay. We don't really care about our YouTube channel.
Whoa.
I mean,
I'm sure some people watch it. Some of our videos have like thousands of views because they think it's the movie.
yeah, I think that's just because like inflatable sex doll has sex in the title,
Right.
So people are like, I type in sex, what comes up, and then that comes up, and they're like, there's no pictures.
It's every 11-year-old boy searching just sex,
Oh,
boobs.
We are
Just
sorry
type
we have
boobs.
disappointed you. What have you fuckers been watching?
wow, Michael.
Oh,
would you like to go
okay.
first,
Yeah, I'll
please?
go. This is a brand spanking new one. A new one.
Ooh, fresh.
I think I brought this is a sequel, Extraction 2.
Oh, okay.
I think I brought up the first one before on the podcast, or at least I've bugged you all about needing to watch it.
I actually did break down and watch it.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I liked it.
So
I thought it was a fine action film.
I still have not.
it's from director Sam Hargrave, who like is a classic stuntman. Like he's done.
Oh, you could tell that
he's
it's
done everything.
Directed by a stunt dude.
It's just like these incredible action sequences that are so well choreographed that they don't look choreographed. You know, like there's a little bit of gun fu in it. You know,
Yeah,
a lot
John
of
Wickisms.
a lot of John Wick
Love
references. But I think the Extraction universe, and I'm going to call it that now because it expands upon it in the second one, and then now we're getting a third one. So the Extraction verse.
I'm liking these action films going like series length, like John Wick. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's honestly, so I really liked the first one. I thought it actually had some heart to it as well. I thought the character had a bit of depth. They explore it more in the second one. They do feel kind of like a stuntman reel.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the previses that they put together.
Like a demo reel.
But when it's in the right hands and you have like a good camera behind it and like a really good director of photography, that shit looks great. Like it's just
Nice.
great action sequences that you feel. So
What's my one complaint about the first one?
it's uneven.
A little uneven. But my biggest complaint is it's too long.
You know,
15, 20 minutes could have been cut easily from that movie.
there's actually probably about 10 minutes that could be cut from Extraction 2. I'll give it that. But they hit hard on some of the emotional development of the character.
I don't know how that fucker's alive, man.
Well, they go into that, and it's really interesting.
Okay.
Because they keep him alive, and he's like, when he wakes up, he's like, what the fuck? Why the fuck am I here?
Okay.
Like, I got what I wanted, and why am I here? And it kind of explores more of the
Is it
friendship.
supernatural? Is he undead?
No, it's not. It's
I
not.
was excited there for a minute.
I don't know. He said it expanded the universe. so-
Yeah.
What was that piece of shit, Brimstone?
Oh my god.
we talked about that last time too.
You guys.
How did you not know he's a demon? How did you not know he's undead? I don't know. Because I'm not
We
intuitive.
saw him get his fucking throat slashed. We saw him.
Maybe he's Tyler Rake from Extraction, and he's totally fine.
Oh man.
No, I do think they upped the action in the second one, which is kind of like the John Wick thing. Like, how do you keep doing more and
keep
more and
upping the
more
ante.
and actually make it fun? I just felt like it was just really, I don't know, it was hard hitting. It was good. I think if you liked the first one, totally watch the second one. Also, Idris Elba pops up, so
Nice.
he's fucking awesome
Bonus.
and everything. He's only in 2 scenes, but he steals both of them.
Yeah.
As he does.
Yeah. So Extraction 2, that is on Netflix. Just came out Friday. So
Can you catch the first one on there too?
yeah, they're
Nice.
Netflix exclusives.
Solid.
So yeah, I would totally, if you like action at all.
Yeah, unlike certain Disney properties, they won't scrub them completely from their streaming.
Hey, Star Trek Prodigy just got scrubbed.
Did it really?
Yeah.
From Paramount?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they canceled it. I read it this afternoon. They axed it and they plan on removing it in a couple months.
Uh-oh.
Bullshit. I haven't
Yeah.
even watched it. I
But
guess I better watch it.
that's apparently rights issues though, because they're apparently shopping for season 2. Like they want it. They've apparently already done it. And so it's in the can.
You think that Paramount would run their own property?
I mean, you'd think that they would do anything smart, but you know, they keep canceling Star Trek over and over and over. So, especially when people keep watching it and they still keep canceling it. Yeah,
You know, speaking of these kinds of movies and like the John Wick comparisons, have you guys seen the latest Mission Impossible trailer?
No, but I kind of like the movies. I'll be honest.
Nah, I stopped
It's
watching
like
it for
visually
2 years.
just the trailer. It's totally like pulling on the John Wick chain.
Have you seen the
course it
last
is.
couple?
I think I'm like 2 behind.
The one with Cavill was really good, surprisingly. And I don't really like.
Is that the one where he reloads his arms?
Yeah, the shotgun arms. I love that shot, the way it looks.
That's cool.
I don't like Tom Cruise at all.
I can't stand. You know me. That's why I haven't watched him. I can't fucking stand him.
Eyes Wide Shut's about the only one I
Yeah.
like him in.
I don't like him, but I liked that one. You know, like he seems to be smart enough as a producer, though, like to know who to surround himself with, and he keeps getting cool
yeah.
actors to be around him. So like Simon Pegg's been in the last 5 Mission
Right.
Impossibles. Ving Rhames is always cool. He's bringing in Haley Atwell in the new one, and she's
Killer.
cool. So, I mean, it seems like he's smart enough to know, like, let's just keep bringing these cool actors because people are probably going to get tired of me. I don't think he thinks that.
No, I don't think he would ever have that thought in his life.
No. Well, I just got your podcast canceled because I, shit on
He's
Tom
just
Cruise.
worried at any moment he might suddenly transcend to a higher plane of existence.
I just
Once
loved
it-
them.
Once his thetan levels max out, right? Now we're blacklisted by Scientology too.
Oh, fuck those
them.
fuckers.
If either of you were, if you got on here as like, we're now endorsed by Scientology, they'd be like, well,
Wouldn't that be
fucking
amazing if you're
assholes.
gone for a few months and you come back and the first thing I do is like, sponsored by Scientology.
Fuck,
Michael, we're going to live check your thetan levels on air.
I'm gone. I'm out.
Are you ready to be audited, Michael?
Thetan this.
This is our genre exposure audit special.
Speaking of Star Trek,
Yeah, there he goes.
There we go.
I discovered a series on Amazon.
Discovered.
God damn it.
It's on Amazon. It's called The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek.
Oh, is it kind of like a retrospective?
Yeah, it's like an 11-part series. It came out just last year, apparently.
How many times did you nut while watching it?
That's none of your business. And I'm shocked you asked such a question.
I'm just wondering if you broke the record.
No.
You look a little more tired than usual.
But I hadn't heard about this. Usually any Star Trek project, pings on my radar pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I just started devouring this. And it's pretty, a lot of it's just your typical talking heads, goofy shit. But they don't pull any punches on some things.
I mean, there's a lot of cool, I've just stumbled upon reading things like background stories of the original production and
Right.
the writers and what was going on and the different ideas they were kicking around.
Yeah, and they touch on how some of them were completely shitty. And how Roddenberry wasn't always a great person.
There was a lot of people kind of thinking they had ownership of everything in a way almost. And
Right.
Yeah.
Certain actors being treated like shit. And they go into that some. But it's also just like a fun... And it goes through everything, like all the movies, all the series. So if you're a Trekkie out there and you want to watch something maybe you hadn't seen that maybe you missed, check this out.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, for sure. It's good.
I love big, long, documentary behind the scenes stuff.
Glad that went where that was.
Isolate that audio.
Yeah. I like big, long
Bana says,
wangs. Okay.
what have you been watching?
I just brought the maturity level down.
Yeah.
You guys have been a little too...
I've missed this.
A little too highbrow.
I've got two because I've just been on that chain lately. So I'll start with the bad one. So it's tied into a cool discovery, though. So we were subscribed to one of those TV cable streaming services because Tiffany has to watch certain shows that she really likes. And at the bottom of the service, they have all these it's a streaming network, and they have a live TV stream, and they just kind of all show up on there. There's some we know Retro Crush. They have all the old 80s anime OVAs and stuff. They have a live channel, and I check it every now and again because new ones get added. And Screenbox is now on there now with their own live TV service of their content.
So they're just playing something randomly from their selections.
Don't they only have Terrifier? Is that all they have?
Hey, they've got the Cube Japanese remake now. So
They do have that new Robert Englund documentary I really want to watch.
yeah, Screenbox, they're coming up, I think.
Yeah.
So I just left it on one night. I think Tiffany fell asleep, and I was kind of I just put something on. And what just happened to be on is a little movie called I Am Lisa from 2020. And wow, it's not good. Let's just start there.
No.
Okay. Show's over. Goodbye, everyone. No. It's like this. It tries to be too many things. Okay. So at first it's this small town. Things are kind of weird, Twin Peaksy, but also there's some crime going on kind of thing. And there's a corrupt sheriff, and she kind of backs her kids who are bullying people and stuff. And the main character Lisa runs this little bookstore in town, and she's a bit of an outsider, a little gothy vibe to her. She's played by Kristen Vaganos, who I didn't really recognize from anything. It looks like she's done a lot of Lifetime-y looking stuff or direct-to-video horror films. She was the best part of it for sure. She had a good charisma to her. It was just she was in this train wreck of a movie. And so there's the first part of it is her kids are bullying her and messing with her, and the sheriff's kind of covering it up. And then it kind of ramps up into this sort of rape revenge thing where they abduct her and beat her, and she gets raped and left in the woods to be eaten by wolves. It's what they're trying to hide the evidence. And then a wolf bites her, and then it becomes a werewolf story where it's almost doing the Ginger Snaps thing, where it's kind of she's coming into who she really is and being less reserved and more empowering kind of thing. But it just doesn't balance it very well, and the werewolf stuff gets almost a little low budgety Twilighty because it's she'll start to wolf out, and then all that happens is she gets contacts, and like finger claws. And like the climax of the film, it's the full moon and she goes like full werewolf, and it's really like Star Trek Next Generation level facial makeup to kind of give her like a larger furrowed brow and like higher cheekbones and like a more angular face. And that's it.
How dare you?
I mean, it works in Star Trek because it's Star Trek, but it's like...
How do you sit with this man?
I don't know, man. He's disrespecting Michael Westmore. Get the fuck out of my house.
If you're going to have a werewolf transformation, there's a certain level, right?
Yeah,
you expect.
Sure.
Or you just pull the thing from the Creep Show TV show
Animate
on Shudder, where they animate it or just completely don't fucking show it. It's an episode about werewolves. Nah, not going to do that.
And so with her werewolf-like ability, she goes on a spree of revenge, murdering all the people involved, and it's just really dull, and like everyone else is a terrible actor, and so she can't do much, and there's not a lot to work with, and yeah.
So I'm going to be woke and ask a question.
Sure.
Is this directed by a man?
Let me see. It's directed by a dude called Patrick Rhea, who, according to Letterboxd, has a very extensive director credit list that all look to be horror films that I have never seen of or heard of in my life. Some of which look like they are rip-offs of popular films, like a movie called Charlotte. Looks like it's about a doll that looks like Annabelle.
Oh, God, one of those.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense that a dude would tell a story about that a woman can't come into her own until she's raped. You know, like, it's not until she's awakened by
Right.
this sexual violence that's going to traumatize her for the rest of her life that now she comes into... Sorry.
And that kind of is the problem with it, though. You're right. Just the little bit I described, you nailed
Jason's like, you woke libtard.
No, because it's like you've got the rape revenge tale, and we kind of know the tropes and the formula of that, and then you've got the werewolf tale, and they were trying to like kind of interweave those in a way that was interesting, but it's really kind of like tone deaf and not compelling at all.
All right.
So
That's disappointing.
rare miss. Now, speaking of tone deaf and potentially not compelling, I went to the theater to see The Flash.
Speaking of woke.
I was wondering what your reaction to this was going to be.
So let's get this out of the way. Ezra Miller is insane. He probably does not need to make movies anymore.
It's not their pronoun, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's scary.
They're insane.
I'll take
They
that.
don't need
I
to
catch
be
you,
insane.
yeah.
They're insane.
They may be absolutely batshit crazy, but I will at least respect their pronoun. But they may be a piece
Sure.
of shit human being, but I'll respect your pronoun.
So, as a DC film, it's like, did you ever like any of the DC films? If you did, you'll probably like this one, especially if you've liked any of like the mainline, like the whole like from Man of Steel, that chain through everything, like that Snyderverse. This is kind of like the final calling card on the Snyderverse, especially after its box office gross.
Yeah, it's bombed, hasn't it?
Oof.
So, good comic book story that's very fun. It's a classic Flash tale of him trying to, go back in time and muck with stuff and screw everything up. The actual, like, Flash character, he's fun. He's kind of the same vibe as he is in Justice League. There's not a lot of depth there, though. Really, it's like the side people that kind of carry the film. Like, Michael Keaton back as Batman is fucking incredible.
That's the
Love
only
that.
reason
Yeah.
I'd watch it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he makes the movie. He's like one of the greatest parts. He really carries it from like the second he comes in through the rest of it.
I kind of wish that there was this James Bond thing where it's just been Michael Keaton playing Batman for the last 30 years.
That'd be crazy. And then Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle. Yeah.
I think she's a newcomer, right?
I don't know that I recognized her from anything, but she is amazing too. But unfortunately, she's a little underutilized. She's only in it for like a little slice of the film. And it's one of those things like you can tell they messed up when they were plotting it out because like she has such a presence and like really steals the scene
Well,
every
they're probably
time.
too scared to have a woman too front and center because it would have scared off all the incels.
I mean, it's Supergirl.
I mean, it's better than the 80s version from what I can tell.
But yeah, she's amazing, and hopefully maybe they'll like recycle her into the new universe potentially. That would be a good idea, I think.
James Gunn wills it.
James,
Well, Michael Shannon's out because he shit on the movie as soon as he went on
yeah.
Did he?
press junkets about it.
He still cashed a check, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It sounds to me like he was contracted, that he had to do it.
Well, I'm sure he was.
Because he was like, I'm tired of these movies where it feels like everybody's just playing with action figures. I was like, damn, Michael Shannon.
And there's
I
been
mean, I
some,
agree with him, but he's the one who signed the fucking contract.
Paying your rent, man.
And there's been some things said about the CG in it being bad, and I think like the directors come out and Andy Machete and said that it was like a design choice. When they're doing,
I designed it to look like shit.
when he's doing like the time travel thing, it's in this weird like almost like an amphitheater, and he sees like events surrounding him, and as he runs, it like scales them back. And like one new event will come up and like fall over, and then the next one.
Okay.
It's a really neat like stylized look, and for that they made everyone that shows up that he sees look very like CG and plasticky. Because it's supposed to be like, I guess they're blurred by the Speed Force, but it's whatever. I mean, does it look out of place? Yeah, but it's not like the worst CG you're ever going to see in a superhero film. So
Did he also intend It Part 2 to suck?
I don't know.
Was that all part of the design?
Oh, that was him. Yeah, too.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah,
I mean, it has good parts, but... Yeah.
And I think he's directing the Batman movie now for the Gunniverse.
Oh my god,
of
who's
DC.
going to be Batman in this one?
Some other things I wanted to say about this real quick to wrap it up. There's a lot of fun cameos. There's a part where like things are going bad and all these different worlds are like crashing together, and he's kind of seeing glimpses of them. And they do stuff like you get the classic Superman. You see, there's apparently this weird, like now kind of controversial cameo where it's the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick, with like the little like metal tin hat, and it looks like the dude from the Flash TV show in the CW.
Oh, that was not asked if they could use him?
But it's also not actually him. They were like,
Oh.
we just made a CG version of what he looks like in the comics. That's what they're saying now. But
Right.
and that's kind of weird and awkward.
Well, they probably own his likeness anyway, so...
Yeah, you see the 80s like Supergirl in there for a second. Then of course I think it's famously spoiled now, but there's the Nick Cage cameo.
Yeah.
Where they filmed a little scene of that failed script that never got made, which that was cool to see. Him fighting the stupid giant spider.
Fucking giant spider. Okay, so this bombed hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Briefly, why do you think that is? Our general audience is finally suffering from superhero fatigue. Was it just bad word of mouth because it's had a really troubled production?
So I think it's three things.
I have thoughts as well. We'll
Number
see if we
one
hit mine.
is Ezra Miller is problematic.
Garbage person, okay.
That's
Garbage people.
That's the whole thing. Number two is there is a general superhero fatigue going on. I think we know this now in general. When you look at reviews on new superhero films and the box office and stuff, they're kind of dipping regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, you know, I've been suffering from that ailment for a while.
And then
Since
three
the very
is
first one.
I feel like in general the DC universe thing they've been doing is like kind of on the rocks because like since like Black Adam, everyone has been like
Yeah, that bombed too, didn't it?
dipping and bombing under
Shazam,
expectations.
like,
Yeah,
failed
the second
hard.
one. Yeah. That's like embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, so,
They also like really fucked it up by coming out before The Flash came out and talking about how James Gunn is now taking over and we're rebooting everything. So where does this fall?
Right.
You know,
it's
like
why bother?
it's like, okay, well, if it's not like the Marvel thing where I need to watch this to be able to watch the next or to be able to catch whatever, like, okay, well, now I don't have any reason to watch it. And especially with all of the Ezra Miller bullshit around it,
Right,
I think
yeah.
a lot of people were like, well, now I just don't fucking care. Like, Keaton's great, but,
Give him his own movie. He doesn't need
Yeah.
to be...
well, apparently,
they need to do Batman Beyond.
that was apparently what was going to happen if this one did well, because they were already discussing doing Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton.
Well, they should respond to what people are responding to. If
Yeah.
they like Michael Keaton as Batman, then do something with that.
It's weird because a lot was riding on this. There was the Batman Beyond film was riding on
Yeah.
it, and then there was a Flash 2 doing the obvious thing, which is to bring in Reverse Flash, which was like the one thing that's still not been done for this.
The only Flash I want to see
stuff.
is Gordon. So
I got 2 points to finish up on this. One more good thing. There's a great opening act scene with the Ben Affleck Batman, where he kind of calls in Flash to help with like a incident that's going on, and we get this amazing like daytime chase sequence and fight with Batman, and he's got like the actual blue cape and cowl, and it looks fucking amazing, and it's totally in daylight the whole time and like bright and well lit. And
wow.
it's really awesome.
That
It
is
looks
odd for
really good.
DC.
And apparently it's kind of supposed to be like a little bit of what would have been the movie he wanted to direct, which also is never going to happen
Right,
now.
yeah.
But it made me sad 'cause I was like, man, he is like one of the better Batman now, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really dig just his look and his style and everything.
It's just because he does CrossFit.
And then the other thing is kind of relating to like what you were saying, where they didn't know what they were doing with this movie once the whole like switch came.
Yeah.
They filmed like 3 different endings for this film.
Wow.
So they had one, and it was like, this is what we're doing. Then when Black Adam before release started getting the hype train on it, and there was all this like, oh, Cavill's in it as Superman for a second, like they're going to do the other Justice League, they're going to do Man of Steel 2, blah, 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 blah. They rushed and filmed a new ending that kind of tied into that idea, and they were all ready for it. Then Black Adam bombs, then they're like, oh, that's not going to happen. Then James Gunn comes in, and they're like, you can't keep this ending now. So they made a third ending, which is the one that came to screen.
Okay.
It's got another fun cameo. Do you guys care if I spoil it?
Not one bit.
I'm not gonna watch it.
It's kind of the same premise as the other two endings. They just altered the characters. So it's supposed to be...
Those of you listening who care, skip ahead like 15, 30
if you
seconds.
care, skip on until you hear the music. But he's back in his own universe. He's fixed everything. Everything is righted. And Bruce Wayne contacts him, and he's like, hey, I'm going to come pick you up. We got to talk about some things. Everything's good. Everything's right. The limo pulls up. The door opens, and out steps the George Clooney Bruce Wayne. And he realizes that he still messed some things up and nothing's quite the same.
So that's going to go nowhere.
No. It's supposed to be a funny thing now.
Oh, just a funny... Okay.
Because the original thing, I guess, was like kind of a hint of like, he's back and everything's normal. And that was all it was. And then the second one was like, he's back and like the Justice League are there, but also the Supergirl character is there. And she kind of like ported into their universe now. And that there was going to be like a setup for that. And then when they went to be like, okay, third ending, I guess the notes they got were, we like the idea that he's back and it's something different, but let's just make it a joke.
Well, I mean, considering the Batman movie he was in, that's a pretty tremendous joke.
Yeah, so...
I think I've settled on just accepting that for what it is. The Batman and Robin movie.
I mean, it's funny as hell.
Why accept it as anything other than a shitty movie?
It's how I view it as its comedy. It's just like...
Laugh Riot, but it's terrible.
It's basically like Adam West.
It's almost too painful to really to
Everyone freeze.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
So
Kevin
terrible.
Smith says that the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever is amazing.
Kevin
so.
Smith can suck my dick. All right.
Ooh.
So all that being said, yeah, if you like DC films, you're going to like this. If you're out on them, then you probably shouldn't waste your time with this.
Right.
Holy shit, Kevin Smith's here. What?
Oh, my God.
He's got a chair!
With a steel chair. Oh, my God.
Should we actually talk about the movie we came here to talk
probably.
about?
No.
Okay.
I didn't come here for that.
The movie you picked?
No.
He didn't watch it.
Oh, fuck.
I just came to listen to you guys talk about it. You didn't tell me how to watch it. You just said pick one.
Oh, you got me there.
So I picked it.
All right, so today we are talking about Moon from 2009. Michael's laughing because he doesn't catch the weird dance we do now to simulate the interim music.
Yeah. We danced to each other now.
It's gotten a little lonely around here without Michael.
Yeah, we miss you. Please come back.
I'm really disappointed at both of your dances. Like, I looked from one of you to the other, and I thought, this can't get worse. And then I look over, and it does.
Oh, it's
He
worse.
just turns his head and I'm smiling right at him.
No, you make eye contact.
Don't look away from me.
It enhances my dance.
We're talking about Moon 2009, Duncan Jones, more sci-fi goodness. Jason, in the first episode, you took us to the post-apocalypse, very iconic aspect of science fiction. Michael, you have brought us to space.
It's like the
The
intro
final
to...
frontier.
I was getting ready to do my... We're going to space.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay, yeah. So I was really on the fence about this one. But one of the reasons I chose it is I wanted to revisit it because I watched it in 2009 when it came out, and it was kind of like the indie darling
Yeah.
when it came out. And everybody was really hyped up on Sam Rockwell's performance, which, spoiler, it's fucking great.
Rightly so, I would say.
And just the fact that we don't get too many films with the one-person cast.
Right, they're very hard to do well, I think.
Right.
So I guess I'll just go straight into the film. Basically, we're set in a near future. You know,
It's not radically.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't give a
stuff.
date, but it's
The
like,
most important thing is that we've just discovered, you know, the film lets you know that, and what I love is this ad at the beginning.
Oh,
that
yeah.
it's just like this ad for the Lunar Corp or
Lunar Energies Limited.
that basically we've destroyed the planet, you know, like we're
It's an energy crisis.
Energy
going on.
crisis.
The
but
one
we've,
we're staring down right now.
but
Yeah.
we've discovered the cleanest fuel possible, which is fusion energy, and that it's harnessed from the sun and the moon, and brought to you by Lunar.
Yeah, it's a helium-3, which is actually theories about that possibly being an energy source.
Oh, neat.
And I'll rant about that more later. So
Okay,
put a pin in that.
Yeah, so that they found deposits of helium-3 on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it then cuts forward to we see our main character, Sam Bell,
Played by Sam Rockwell.
played by Sam Rockwell.
Very easy because we could just say Sam and
Sam, yeah.
we're on point.
First off, my first impressions of the film, which I love, is the 2001 Space Odyssey odes.
Oh, yeah, you,
You
get
know, like,
big vibes of that.
The
whole
color
film.
palette of the very sterile white. Like, it's very futuristic, but also very space, like very NASA.
Yeah, and then it's a nice. There's also a little grimy. You can
Yeah.
tell because we get the information immediately on the screen. It's a crew of one with a contract of 3 years. So, and it looks like this dude's been living here for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Because there's like smudge prints on the consoles.
Yeah.
and
No
stuff.
one's cleaning.
And it's like
clear.
Yeah.
it's like everything's been so automated. They just need the one guy for like
Right.
little certain parts to be done.
Yeah.
And he is not alone, though, that we meet another character, Gertie.
Which maybe we should disclaimer here.
Sorry, this was pre-Kevin Spacey being a shitbag. No, he
Well,
was probably a
before
shitbag.
public knowledge.
Yeah, he was
Before
probably a
public knowledge,
shitbag
yeah.
then, too, but pre-public knowledge of Kevin Spacey being a shitbag. So, yes, Gertie is a computer that is voiced by Kevin Spacey.
You don't see his face, you just hear his voice.
Again, another 2001 Space Odyssey.
He's pulling a very Hal like kind of style of delivery.
But I love the design of Gertie too. I like how it's like on the rails.
Yeah.
It's basically just like a unit that can see you and everything, and it has like an arm attachment, but it's attached to the ceiling, so it has to.
Yeah, kind of stroll. and,
Yeah,
like,
it's not
slide
hovering
through.
or rolling or anything.
That's another point, too, of one of the reasons that I chose this. And one of the things I really like about it, I mean, spoiler, I do like this movie quite a bit, which is why I chose it. But the practicality of that design,
Yeah.
no CG. You don't need CG for it.
Yeah.
You can manually move it. You can manually do all this stuff. You can put everything in camera.
Yep, and I love that he has a filthy cup holder on him.
Yeah. Because his job, Gertie's job, that is to take care of Sam.
Yep.
That's his whole job.
Yep. Just make sure he keeps doing what he's doing.
And he doesn't have like a robot face. He has like an emoticon
Yeah.
that will change depending on what emotion he wishes to convey.
It's very clear that Sam has a kind of love-hate relationship with Gertie. We also come to find out that Sam is a bit of a troubled character in general as we kind of start getting some backstory for him. But it opens basically with Sam just doing his job, which is, he gets up, he exercises, he tries to keep fit.
Makes reports.
Yeah, makes reports. He looks to see if anything's malfunctioning. And then he sends back the helium-3 once it's...
Yeah, they have like big like automated collectors that kind of rove the surface of the moon.
His big harvesters.
And they send to him like the status reports of how much they have. So when one is like got a full tank of this helium-3 they've collected, he has to go out in like a little rover, pick up the tank, and then head back and ship it off.
All the while avoiding sandworms.
That wasn't the one I watched.
Oh,
Weird.
And before we go too more deep in the plot, I wanted to
watched
throw this
Toilet
out
Dude.
here. This film only had a budget of $5 million.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
To be at that price.
And I will
they
make-
really stretched it.
I will make some arguments as to why it looks so good. It's because the film doesn't rely on a shit ton of CG.
Yeah.
All of those beautiful shots of the moon rovers is fucking miniatures.
Yeah, all models and stuff.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can tell. You can see it when you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
And because it looks...
That's why it looks good.
It looks tactile. It looks like someone built it.
It has
You
weight
can-
to it.
It's like it's there, you could touch it.
And just with actual good filmmaking, you don't need to do these big CG monstrosities. You can build these, like, take these amazing craftspeople that build these gorgeous models for film that we apparently just don't use anymore because, why? And it looks great.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Everything about it looks great.
See,
Also-
that would take planning, and that's what most Hollywood directors don't do anymore. They don't actually fucking plan
They need,
anything.
they actually need time to build the sets and models and all that stuff.
Also, before we get too deep, what genre tags does this have?
Oh,
Do you guys know?
science fiction for one, obviously.
For sure.
I bet it might have
Drama and mystery are the other two.
drama mystery. Yeah, I was about to say mystery.
I would throw in there psychological thriller because I think there's a lot about like his headspace and where he is.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And kind of a key of any psychological thriller is sort of like that breakdown of like your sense of the world and stuff. And spoilers, we're going to get into that real quick.
Yeah. That is kind of a caveat of this episode, is this movie does, once we hit a certain point,
There's a big twist.
the movie's spoiled for you. So if you care about this, I would recommend watching the film before you listen to the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit pause. We'll wait for you.
If you
Go
don't
watch the
care,
movie.
listen right along. But just, I think it's, once you know the twist, it's worth a second watch because it's
notice
really
things, yeah.
fun. So, like, this is my second time watching it, and I knew the twist, so I'm hearing things and seeing things, and I'm like,
I would
interesting.
also argue that it's not even really a twist because it happens so early.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it does, but that revelation, like,
Sure, I agree.
it flips what the movie is from that point forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sam is doing his job. He sees that there's a potential problem with one of the harvesters.
Yeah, it's like stuck or something.
So he takes the rover out, which looks so cool. Great shots of those miniature shots, just driving the rover along. Gets out to the harvester, comes back. Sam's already looks kind of haggardly.
Yeah, it's like he's worn down. a
Yeah,
little bit.
like
Yeah,
he's
you
been
can
in
tell
this
this job's
station
taking a toll on him.
for 3 years. He's got, at this point, he's got like long hair. He hasn't been taking care of himself, very well. He's still doing the exercise, but like as far as, but why would you? Like,
It's just think about, how you look during COVID. This is how he looks.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Good comparison.
When he comes back, though, he is. We get a nice butt shot.
Oh, yeah.
We get a full
dude
Sam
butt.
Rockwell butt shot.
And we see him load the H3 into a drone that is then shot to Earth.
Yeah.
Which is probably the only CG in the movie. You could tell that.
It's so minimal, too. It
it's-
works well.
Sure.
They don't show it. You really only see the flashes of the afterburners.
It's very
That's kind of it.
fast.
So, yeah, Quiet Earth, we got a little wang. Now we're getting a little butt. We're going pretty good for this vlog, yeah.
We're gonna get some gooch in the next one.
Wow.
Yeah. But the interesting thing here is, it's just he's showering off, after coming back, but he sees someone.
Yeah, for a split second.
For a split second, he sees a woman sitting there in the shower with him. She's in like a yellow dress. So it's very stark contrast to the color palette that is the film of just sterile white.
And that's really clever filmmaking, I think, to set it up like that.
And he sees her, and he kind of like looks back and has like a, what the fuck? Okay. And now he's starting to question, like, the fuck did I just see? Like,
Yeah.
and I think I think he's still trying to pass off the sanity of like, okay, I've been up here for 3 years. There's nobody.
At this point, also, we've seen him watch recorded messages of his wife and daughter.
And we have already been told that the satellite link to be able to talk to Earth is down.
Yeah. you
Right, so
can't-
they have to do like recorded messages.
Right. Takes so many minutes. for it
And
to
we
get
know
back and
that when
forth.
he left, she was pregnant. And in the 3 years, she's had the kid. And the kid's a little grown up now.
Right.
Yeah, her name is Eve.
Played by Rosie Shaw. And the wife is Tess, played by Dominique McElligott.
And it's through this video that he's watching where you kind of get the sense of a little bit of the backstory between Tess and Sam, just with little hints and glimpses at it, that the reason he took this job was that they kind of needed some time apart. That
They're
they were
having some issues.
they were having some issues.
Like you do.
Sending someone to the moon is an extreme way of getting your space.
Piper's usually like, go under the porch for a while. I don't want to see you. But now she's going to be like, you fucking go to the moon for 3
I
years.
mean, I usually have to sleep on the couch, but
Yeah.
the moon, man.
You're really in trouble.
Yeah, but we kind of get the sense of why he's here. But we also know that he is at the end of his.
He's got 2 weeks left.
He's got 2 weeks left in his 3-year stint, and he is going home.
Yeah, the pay's great, apparently, too.
Yeah.
They mentioned that.
There's an interesting thing that Tess says to him that she says, so-and-so, I think his name, who is Matt Berry's character's name?
Overmyers.
Overmyers, which is played very briefly by the amazing Matt Berry.
Yeah, I saw his name in the credits and I got excited because I forgot that he was in this in any capacity whatsoever.
No, he's played by Matt Berry, who is...
He plays Laszlo and What We Do in the Shadows.
yeah,
In case that you don't know.
so funny, which is...
I can't even hear his voice without smiling.
Yeah.
Like, just normal deliveries of lines, I just smile.
Speaking of the credits, you just triggered a memory for me. I love the way the film opens with the credits where they're like overlaid on the little incidental shots of his.
Oh yeah,
routine.
they'll be like positioned at
Yeah.
an angle or something depending on what's on the screen.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And Benedict Wong is in it as well. The guy who plays Wong. And
Thompson's his character.
They play the two mysterious company men that he gets recordings from and stuff.
the bosses.
Yeah.
I don't even remember where I was going with that before I got distracted by map. Oh, she said that Overmeyer's is promising everything now that you're there. And I love that. There's like this little line that's basically gives you a hint of why he did it. You know, like this is very lucrative. This is a really horrible job that someone was going to have to do. Spend 3 years in isolation. But there's good reasons for doing it. Well, so now, after all this, we get this kind of set up. Sam is now kind of taking care of himself a little bit more.
He's getting his hair cut by a Floby.
Yeah.
Gertie is cutting his hair with one of those suction things.
Yeah.
I always think of it as the suck cut from Wayne's World. It sucks and it cuts. Get that thing off of me, man.
But yeah, he's getting ready because he's just a few weeks away now at this point.
Yeah. We see that he's got some hobbies that he partakes in. He's building a town model.
Miniature town. Yeah, he's whittling some wood and
Yeah, maybe think of Beetlejuice.
yeah.
Their big model recreation of the city.
Yep.
But he gets in one of his like wake up things. He see like in his next day routine, he sees that there's something wrong like with the harvester again. So he takes the rover out, and as he's driving along, this time we actually get to see like from his point of view. He's like, it's apparently a drive.
Yeah.
You know, a decent little haul to get out there.
He's jamming.
Also,
Yeah.
before this, though, we do see that he's exercising that morning, and we see him get winded pretty easily.
He's starting
And
to-
that's the first little hint that something isn't quite right.
Yeah. And he doesn't look well as he's driving.
Yeah.
You know, he looks like he doesn't feel good. And he looks kind of like drifts with his mind and looks out the window and he sees the girl again. And basically is staring at her and then just fucking slams the rover right into the harvester.
Yeah. He crashes like full blast into the thing.
Breaks
Yeah.
the harvester. The rover is now
Does not look good.
stuck down in a ditch and the scene kind of fades.
Yeah, you hear the automated voice say something about a atmosphere breach or something.
Yeah. Scene fades. Well, the next scene that we come back to is Sam laying on an infirmary table.
Yep.
He's coming to. Gertie is with him.
Gertie's inappropriately touching him while he's unconscious.
Spacey showed up on set. He's like, no, this is part of the character. Let me do this.
Just let me control the arm real quick.
Yeah, no, right there. Yep, right there.
Oh, God.
But Gertie asked him some interesting questions. He's like, Sam, do you know what happened? And Sam's like, I don't know what happened. And he said, do you remember anything? No, I don't remember anything. And he said, well, you had an accident.
You hurt your head, and you probably don't remember the last couple of days or something like
Yeah,
that.
how long have I been out? You know, a while. He gives him
vague.
Gertie's keeping everything very vague for him. So as he finally wakes up and starts to like kind of gain more control of his body and everything.
Initially, he tells him to stay in the bed for a few more days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like his legs don't want to work when he gets up. He's having trouble moving.
He starts to give him like cognitive tests, you know, like matching games or whatever. And it seems very, you know, harmless. Like, okay, you've had a brain injury. We need to make sure you're still fit to do this job.
Yeah, I think he even tells him there's like a rehabilitation program he has now that he has to like run Sam through.
Yeah. So it's very, you can tell Sam is like, just let me go to work.
Yeah.
I just want to go to work. Let me get back to my normal things. So this is
He gets up because he wants to try to walk around a little bit.
yeah.
And he's stumbling. And as he's stumbling along, he hears Gertie having a conversation.
Yeah,
in real time, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We see Gertie talking to the monitor, and it's a back and forth.
Yeah,
it's the two company men.
Two suits.
And Sam kind of like seems shocked by it, but also I think that Sam is also thinking like, okay, well maybe I'm not hearing what I think I'm hearing, you know.
He asks Gertie, and Gertie lies and says that, no, the satellite link's still down. I was just recording a message. Nothing to see here.
And so I think at this point, this is where he's really wanting to try to go back to work.
Yep.
And Gertie is really trying to stop him.
Yep. Gertie basically tells them that they're going to let a bunch of stuff just run on automation and it'll be just fine, and they've accounted for it back at the company.
Yeah, like the airlock door is shut and locked, and one of the harvesters is stalled.
Yeah, he doesn't get clearance to even go out in the airlock or anything, too.
Yeah, Gertie says that I'll pass that along to Central, and he gets a recorded message from Central telling him to stay put.
Yep.
And so this is where Sam really starts to get stir crazy and like really starting to suspect like this is not normal. Why is it being like this?
This is where the big 2001 vibes kick in, because it's the whole like, is Gertie like
right?
Yeah, you're really the whole time you're kind of thinking like, if you haven't seen this before, you're thinking like,
I mean, it's voiced by Kevin Spacey.
Is Gertie going to touch me inappropriately?
It's an evil robot.
Chances are yes.
Say magic 8-ball. It just the Kevin Spacey 8-ball always says chances are yes.
I already am.
This is the point where Greb's like he starts to devise his little plan to get outside.
Yeah,
he's
right?
plot.
He takes out like a maintenance hatch and he starts cutting through a hose.
And he's got some gas flowing through or whatever now that he's basically like, no, Gertie, you got to let me outside. Like, at least let me go take a look at this.
He's like, some micrometeors have hit us. It's probably damaged the exterior shell. I have to go check it out.
Which I think it's interesting because you would think there would be a way for Gertie to check that.
Right, like actually maybe like some way for him to go out.
But I guess it's something the company never considered. So
Yeah.
I think this one of the overarching themes of this film is corporate greed, which I mean
that would have been more money for more cameras, more sensors.
Exactly. And this is very much like they've figured out a way to do this at the cheapest way possible.
Yeah, some real Amazon shit.
Yeah.
Going on.
No shit.
So Gertie decides, okay, I'll open up the doors for him. And Sam goes for his EVA suit, which is missing.
Yep.
So he goes for another one that looks like it's never even been touched.
Yeah. Fresh, brand new.
And he notices something's wrong with this.
Right, because he stops because it's the one he always. We saw him put it on before.
We saw it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I love how this movie drops little breadcrumbs like that too.
It's also a great one that we'll talk about with the song that plays when he wakes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he rides out to the stalled harvester and he finds the rover there crushed. And he goes inside the vehicle. He sees a body sitting there, and there's like frost over the helmet and stuff. He's brushing it off, and yeah, he's sitting inside the rover.
So yes, he now sees what looks to be himself.
And this is where we started with one Twilight Zone episode about a person in isolation going crazy to a different Twilight Zone episode about clones.
Yeah.
And at this point, he doesn't really know what to think.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like fighting the obvious. He stumbles back to the base.
The unconscious individual still has vitals.
Yeah, he's still alive. Gertie says they have to get him to the infirmary.
Gertie's real cagey too.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Gertie's cagey, but he's not. He's never lying to him. Basically, he's like, "Who is that, Gertie?" And he's like, he's starting to break a little bit. And he's like, you're starting to see the temper that Sam Bell has. And he's like, who the fuck is this, Gertie? And Gertie's like, that's Sam.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, okay. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And I like how Sam's watching this other Sam, where he's wearing like sunglasses, while Gertie is like reviving him.
He's doing his
testing
full
him and
Tom
stuff.
Cruise.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his aviators on.
That's what I thought of.
Yeah.
Oh, I think... So I think one of the beautiful things that's like that you're about to get to see in the film is Sam Rockwell do this absolutely amazing job of playing the same character 3 years apart.
Yeah.
And they literally feel different, even though it is the same character.
You can tell
same person.
which one is the... I mean, they do little subtle things, like the new Sam, the one that's just taken his place, is much more clean cut. He's much more looks like, okay,
Fresh.
I'm fresh, ready to do my job. And the other one is very much, I've been here for 3 years.
Right.
The one is exiting COVID isolation. But God, Sam Rockwell does such a good job.
He does a great job. It's difficult to play the same character, but with two different personalities. I mean, probably the only other performance, even then, this isn't exactly the same, but in Dead Ringers, Jeremy Irons playing twins, not the same character like this, but still, he was able to differentiate each performance so well. You knew who it was, even when one character is pretending to be the other character, but you can keep track of it. And this is a performance pretty much on that level.
And this is one of those things, like I know I said it about Quiet Earth too, but if this performance didn't work, the whole film would fall apart.
Oh, yeah,
It hinges on this.
Yeah.
Which I think Sam Rockwell's a brilliant actor anyway.
He kills it,
I
man.
think he just fades into every role that he's in, and
Yeah.
you forget that he's Sam Rockwell. He becomes that character. But yeah, he's kind of walking around, keeping an eye on him while he's, in the infirmary or whatever.
Both very cagey. And let's just call him New Sam.
New Sam,
The
old
one that
Sam,
the one
yeah.
that found the so New Sam's like watching a message from his wife, who's pretty much telling him that it's over. This isn't going to work. This
Yeah.
long distance relationship just. And the old Sam, he's coming in and he's having trouble moving around and stuff. And he's asking him who he is. Why do you look like me?
I think the first really where it heats up a lot and it's interesting is the new Sam is exercising, and he's fucking going at it
Right,
with this
yeah.
punching bag.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the older Sam, he realizes I can't do that.
Right.
I'm that's the first time he notices there's something different about this other one.
Now, yeah, he's been injured, and you could chalk it up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But
also mindsets are different now. I think he's looking at new Sam from old Sam's 3 years experience
Yeah.
of sitting on this station like it doesn't matter.
right.
None of this matters. But
He's like us.
yeah, he's basically looking at it like it doesn't matter that you do this or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to stay as fit as we can, but the way you're doing this now, doesn't do
Yeah.
anything for you.
And almost in a way, if we could characterize him further, I bet it kind of upsets him because he thinks about that's what I did when I thought it mattered.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the whole time, old Sam is working on his model.
Yeah.
I think while he's doing this exercising, some of it. Mm-hmm. And
Well, the new Sam actually says that the old one is a clone. Mm-hmm. He says you're a clone, but neither of them think that they're their clone. The other one's the
they're
clone.
each like, you're
Right.
a clone.
Yeah.
it's like the three Spider-Men pointing at each other.
And the old Sam does thank him for saving his life. Says he's lonely and just wants to shake his hand. Mm-hmm. But new Sam's a dick. He says no, maybe later. Won't even shake his hand. Won't shake his own clone's hand.
It's funny how quickly they're like, well, yeah, you have to be a clone, and they're like, they almost accept it pretty quickly, which makes me think that there might be something more in this universe.
Yeah, cloning could be a thing.
Yeah, or that it's what we will find out is this extremely,
Unethical.
controversial, shouldn't be being done.
Well, the
kind of a
Chancellor was
thing.
granted emergency powers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
with that, he commenced the clone army.
But you bring up
power.
you bring up an interesting point, Michael. Is that a clever thing they do with the plotting of this film? Is it is a science fiction universe, and we're in the future, and there have been developments, but we only really have Sam's perspective
Right.
in this moment.
Yeah.
So we're very lost on what the nature of this world is and how it works.
And it really just forces you to come back to the character. And it forces you to watch this film develop as the characters find out more things, which are honestly some of my favorite
Oh yeah.
ways to view a mystery. There's some times where it works where you see things that, things that the audience doesn't, and you
Right.
get to watch the reactions. But I love that you don't know with Sam, and you're trying to figure everything out. Because I think as watching this, when new Sam wakes up, you're like, something feels weird about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think probably a jaded mind like ours is probably that guy, he's probably a clone or whatever. But you don't always think that,
Right.
It's the way the film plays it is not, I don't think it's insulting to the audience as well.
No.
I think that's one of the
And it's smart to address it quickly. you
right.
know?
Don't
that's
make this mystery be the clone, because
Right,
that's
yeah.
not the mystery.
That's boring.
It's
That's been
obvious,
done.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because when they finally reveal what's going on, it's very anticlimactic almost.
Yeah.
Because they get into an altercation because they're kind of both wearing down on each other, and Gertie just is like, "Hey, this is what's up."
yeah.
He says, "You're both
Yeah.
clones."
Yeah.
There was an original Sam, and he was the first person to be employed here. And that's just the system they come up with, is that instead of training new employees to come up here to run this base, they would just clone Sam and just pop out a clone.
Yep.
And so this is where they actually start to get in a physical altercation, if they haven't already, when he tells them. But new Sam starts to say, there has to be a secret room
Right.
here. There's somewhere they're storing these bodies. We have to find it.
The big cloning facility.
Old Sam, I think, is still under the impression he's going home.
Yeah.
You know, he still thinks he's going to get to go home. New Sam has already figured out there's no fucking way you're going home, man.
Yeah, it's also important to note that during their fight, Old Sam gets beat up way much more than he should have. Like, he starts bleeding profusely.
He gets cut with the little X-Acto knife. There's an interesting thing, though, when they're... Like, at one point, they're trying to play ping pong together. That's a little fun little thing that, like, Old Sam knows how to play ping pong really well, and New Sam just fucking sucks at it.
Man, he gets pissed, too.
Yeah, and he says something like, I'm starting to see that temper that Tess is always talking about. You know, so he's starting to see, like, see himself from a different perspective. But when he's working on the village that he's creating, and New Sam says, like, oh, yeah, that's like such and such town.
Yeah,
And Old
Fairfield or whatever
Sam
it
Old
was.
Sam is like, what are you talking about? And it's almost like that memory has faded.
Yeah.
That, like, the further they come from being that new, fresh clone, like they're...
Yeah, Old Sam says he doesn't remember starting it.
Yeah, which I think is really funny. Like, I don't... But also very believable.
Yeah.
Like, you're in there for 3 years all on your own, and you're like, I don't really remember. Days just kind of blend.
And we find out that New Sam does know about Tess, but he does not know about Eve, the daughter.
And we get into, I don't remember, it might be a little later, but Gertie straight up tells them those memories are implanted, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gertie just lays it all out.
Which, that's the other cool, like, subversion is we have this whole, like, Hal situation, but then Gertie never turns on them.
Because Gertie keeps saying, my job is to protect you.
To keep you safe.
Keep you safe, and then we also get a ticking clock element.
Yeah.
This movie's got it all.
Because we find out that Lunar Corp, or what is that what they're actually called?
No, it was like
Loon.
Lunar Energies Limited, I think it was.
They are actually sending a
rescue team.
A quote rescue team to fix everything, put everything back. They'll take Sam home.
Yep.
Kind of a thing. So we know now.
This is when Gertie breaks down and tells him. Because they got 14 hours until this rescue team gets here.
And both of them are going to be visible. They're going to know that everything has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. This is when New Sam becomes obsessed about this area that they don't know about.
Yeah,
and
the
he wants
secret
to find
area.
it. He wants to look under that table that has the miniature model.
And
That
Old
seems
Sam
so obvious.
Old Sam just doesn't seem to care anymore. Like,
He's tired, dude.
yeah.
He's physically falling apart.
I'm curious how they. I kind of want an answer of what they did to him. You know, like, is it advanced cancer? It looked like radiation poisoning.
I think they just have a timeline, the time life.
There's a little more information we get later, which we'll wait on, but I think it kind of stinks all that up.
Yeah.
There's some more, like, revelations about the cloning scenario.
Yeah, there's some kind of back and forth with them, and after the big fight, and Old Sam has really got the shit kicked out of him. Like Jason said, he's messed up more than he should be from this fight.
You could say he's very fragile at this point, almost.
He ends up just getting very sick.
Yeah.
Like, he's coughing a lot. He looks like he's extremely not well. He's decided to wrap himself, in his comforter. And at one point, falls asleep. And when he wakes up, it's the song that's playing on his alarm clock. Every morning he wakes up, that's a song that's like, I am the one and only. Which I think is a really funny little cue once you know the thing.
One and only.
Once you know that he's a clone, it's kind of a funny thing.
And again, that's one of those breadcrumbs they lay super early, and then we get this payoff for it.
Right. So he kind of starts to kind of snoop, really. I think he becomes I think he's just becoming depressed.
Yeah.
And he starts searching for his own answers, and not answers that New Sam is looking for.
Right.
I think
they're both searching for the truth, but two different questions. I think.
I think Sam's looking at what's about to happen to me. So he does come across the logs, basically, of the old Sams that came before him.
Yeah, Gertie actually helps him access those.
Yeah.
And curiously, when all of them get to their 3-year mark, they seemingly get very ill. and very sick, just like he's getting.
And the one that they actually show in the little monitor is he's like, yeah, my hair's falling out now, like, man, I don't know. I'm just happy to be going home. And he lays down in this chamber that I guess he thinks is like a cryo freeze or whatever, that he's getting ready to go home.
That's what the video guy tells him, that it's a cryo freeze. Even though it only takes 3 days to get back to Earth, they have to freeze them.
Which is weird.
But it's apparently some sort of gas that immediately kills him and disintegrates him.
It vaporizes the body.
Yeah.
So kind of the thought I had was that, like, as part of this whole plan, like, they designed them to break down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we're talking about cloning, you can obviously manipulate genetics. That could be a thing you could code into them.
Yeah, but the mind's going to break after so long. And they probably decided, 3 years is the breaking point. No one's going to last much longer than that.
It makes you wonder the testing that happened before that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how many did
Seriously.
they test before they got it right?
These Mengele type
The
experiments.
first Sam or
and shit.
two. Meanwhile, new Sam is on his quest too, and he actually finds a communication substation that's near their facility, and they discovered that that's the reason they can't contact Earth. It's got like a jamming signal.
Yeah, they both go out in separate rovers, and they're finding all these stations around the base that are jamming the signals.
So
And that's when old Sam comes back, and he's like vomiting up blood. He vomits in his suit. Teeth are coming out by the roots.
yeah,
It's a very kind of Cronenbergian moment, almost.
once he gets back, he starts to go looking for that chamber
Right.
and he finds it. He
Yeah.
easily finds the chamber, and that's when he starts looking like this room is here.
And that's when they realize, like, all of this is constructed. They clone a Sam to run this place. They have this whole narrative of the wife on Earth.
Give him hope. Give him something to
hope.
come back to.
The memories are implanted.
Give him an exit road where you're going to go back to Earth, but really they just off that clone and launch the next one.
And so he finds this room. I don't think we actually see it yet. I think he comes back to new Sam and basically tells him, I found your room.
Yeah.
And they go down together, and it's basically the whole substation that's just filled with Sams.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very chilling.
dozens, if not hundreds, of clones are in there.
And they open one up, to see that he's in there or whatever.
It's like a morgue drawer.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they're just sleeping in there.
That's when he comes back, and that's when new Sam is starting to think of a plan of what he's going to do. Okay, we know the truth now, so what do we do with it? And they also kind of split characters here again, too, doing two different things.
Yeah.
New Sam really becomes focused on, interestingly, saying that old Sam has been here for 3 years. I'm getting you home.
Yeah, you deserve to go to Earth.
Yeah, you've done your time. It's time to get you home. The whole time, old Sam is just like completely breaking down, like vomiting blood everywhere. But he also,
There's a question there still that he has.
he wants to know about Tess when he gets home.
He grabs his communicating device. It's a big, bulky laptop thing.
Right, because they realize these jamming things are kind of like triangulated around their facility.
Yeah, there's only like a parameter that it's doing. So he drives beyond that and tries to call Tess. Gets a teenager on the line.
We learn is Eve.
And who says that, can you call back? There's something wrong with the video. So she can't see Sam.
And the teenage one is played by Kaya Scodelario.
Yeah, she says she's 15 at this point, and that Tess has died.
She answers a lot of questions for a stranger
she's
that
very
calls.
forthcoming.
Yeah, she's
Very
just like,
forthcoming.
but yeah, she said Tess died some time ago, and he's like, and that's when old Sam breaks.
Yeah.
Well, we get that bomb drop right at the end of their call, too, where she's speaking to someone, like, off screen.
Says, Dad, someone's asking about Mom.
Yeah. And that's when he's like, oh shit, that's the OG Sam's
Yeah,
been on Earth the whole time.
there's something that really got me though. Like, I've really noticed since, like, now that Hawthorne is older and my role as a father is a bit different, I've really noticed a lot of stories hit me differently than they used to.
Sure.
Which is kind of a fun, like, retrospect to how I watch movies now.
Right, you could have, like, a new experience even with an old film.
Kind of, yeah. And there's I
I don't watch Pet Cemetery as often
I
as you
do not. I do not. No.
Man, that one fucking destroyed me as a teen, so...
The scene where he's talking to Eve actually broke me a little bit because he breaks.
Oh, yeah.
And he becomes a father, and he says, baby, what happened to mommy? And like he's no longer Sam anymore, and it's like that instinct was in him, like that's my child.
Which notably, he's been denied that chance to be a father because to his perception, she was born while he was gone, so he's never really even been there in her life.
And just the way he says that, I don't know, it was just beautiful and sad the way he delivers that line. It's like, oh honey, what happened to mommy? Like she hasn't already come to terms with it. That was a little, I don't know, that one choked me up a little bit just because it's a very...
It was definitely a powerful moment. Like I could feel the energy in that scene.
But that's also the complete shift in like the final nail, literally in old Sam's coffin, where he's basically like, "I'm fucking dead. Like there's nothing I can do here." But yeah, like you said, we get that bombshell of
the OG Sam's been on Earth the whole time.
Yeah, talking, and so I think
he hangs up. He gets really scared and hangs up.
Yeah.
Says he just wants to go home, and he's crying, and then there's a shot of the Earth, close but so far away.
But that's when he basically comes to New Sam and is like, "No, you're going."
Well, they also realize that when that rescue team comes, they're probably not there to take anyone home.
No, they're just going to kill him.
And we find out they are not.
Probably activate a new clone. Yeah. New Sam. Hang on, let's see.
So it's
old Sam says that this crew's coming. They're gonna. If they find both of us here, they won't let us live. So you're gonna live.
And so they kind of devise a plan that it's actually really. But when they still think it's old Sam that's gonna go, and they basically clear out the little drone thing that they normally send the Helio 3 in. He puts him in there, and he's like, "You comfy?" No. He's like, "Well, what if I have to take a shit?" He's like, "You hold it in, man, for 3 days. This is what you got to do, man."
Yeah, he said he did the math, and you're going to pull a lot of G's, but you can make it.
And old Sam figures out, like, there's no way I'm going to survive this. Like, because he's already drifting off half the time anyway.
Yeah.
Like, he's really... The makeup artist did a great job, too, of just, like...
It looks...
rapidly making him go downhill quickly.
Yeah.
And very believably, too. Like, he just looks very, very sick.
They tell Gertie to wake up a new clone. Gertie's like, that can only happen if a 3-year contract is up, but New Sam says that if he doesn't, then he and the other Sam are going to be killed. So it's Gertie's job to protect them. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of that whole, like, robot logic.
Yeah. I'll wake up the new clone.
And so once they devise their plan that he says basically to old Sam, like, somebody's got to be in that rover when they come back. So originally it was going to be New Sam. It was going to be in the rover. Old Sam was going to take the thing home.
But I think with these final breakdowns, that's whenever, like, they never really come out and, like, say it, but this is where, like, the old Sam realizes, like...
He's not going to make it.
If I go to Earth, I'm just going to, like, die the second I get there because of this, like, degeneration.
If not before,
And he makes the big choice of, well, if anyone goes, it should be the new one because he's still going to have, at least 3 years to do something.
Yeah.
So they're going to put the new clone body in the rover where the crew is expecting to find the clone body. And he's going to send old Sam back in the helium-3 transport.
And that plan completely changes.
Yeah.
And basically they decide they're going to wake up the new clone. New Sam is going to go back home, and old Sam is going to be in the rover.
And then the fresh one will be there fresh, like it should be.
Yeah.
Because, at this point, old Sam is just barely conscious.
Well, and they know, back on Earth, they know that what they think they know is that old Sam is dead. Because they make a funny comment, like, how do you fuck up a rover and the roamer, like, at the same time? And... Gertie's, and it's funny because Gertie's still covering for him. He's like, it was an accident, beyond it was extenuating circumstances kind of a thing.
It's an incalculable situation.
And we get the scene where New Sam and Old Sam are driving Old Sam out to the rover, or the crawler thing to put him in there. And they have this beautiful moment talking together about how they met Tess.
Yeah. So one thing they kind of can bond over in a way.
And it's a funny story. It's just a cute first meeting story kind of a thing about like how they met and they get to bond, and he notices, he looks over, and old Sam is what we think is gone.
Yeah.
He's basically unconscious at this point. Man, the way Sam Rockwell looks at him, the way he looks at him like this, just sadness of like this shouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And we'll also imagine like anything like we said last episode. Like the cool thing about sci-fi is you ask those big questions.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself in that situation and you find out that you're a clone and there's this other clone and you literally watch yourself die in front of your eyes.
Yeah, that's a breaking point of its own for New Sam. You know, I think he's been so focused on the mission at this point that this one reminds him of the reality that we are human.
Yeah.
Gertie's going to make a statement to him later, you know, after he comes back and he's about ready to go. Anyway, he puts him in the rover, comes back and everything. And he's about ready to go on his little journey. And Gertie makes a statement about, like, you know, I can tell all the other clones or something like that. And Sam looks at him and he's like, we're not clones, we're people. And he's basically reminding Gertie, like, yeah, I know you're a robot or whatever, but we are still people. And this is what the corporation didn't seem to give a shit about, is that we're not to be used like this.
Which hasn't changed much from now.
No, no.
And the other really sad thing is, and Gertie's the one that brings this up, is the final thing is he's like, Sam, you have to wipe my memories of everything that's happened.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to get here and they're going to see, I've been recording everything.
Yeah,
they're going to see it.
It's part of his function. He can't help it. It just happens.
And Gertie just offers for his memory to be wiped.
And Sam does it, I think, reluctantly, because I think Gertie's been the only friend he's had.
Right. There is a bond there.
He does take the kick me sign off the back of Gertie at this point on the little notepad he put on there. So also New Sam changes the course of one of the harvesters before he gets into the transport.
Sends it straight to one of those fucking radio jammers.
Yeah. That Eliza team arrives.
Oh, the other smart thing he does is he gets himself a full canister of the helium-3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that stuff is worth a lot, we're led to believe.
And they get some provisions and stuff, which I worry about, because how is he actually going to get out of his EVA suit?
I think it was probably more for when he gets home. What's he going to do? You know, like...
Yeah, he doesn't know. Yeah, that's true. Anyway.
I think you're led to believe, based on like him carving that thing, that he doesn't really remember much from home.
I just got I got the impression it was for the trip, but he can't get out of his EVA suit in the hold of this little transport.
I do love he brings that big yellow comforter.
Yeah.
Like this giant like comforter suit.
Yeah.
And at one point he's in it and he's like, thanks for this, man. He's like telling the other Sam, like, this is really cozy, man. Thank you for this.
It's like a security blanket almost.
Yeah, the rescue team gets there. They find old Sam in the rover dead.
And that's where we find out that they were definitely not there.
Yeah, because he comes down with a fucking gun.
Yeah, which I'm kind of wondering, like, what's that going to do up here? But
isn't it before the team finds them, they launch the rocket, and we find out that old Sam was still alive? Because doesn't he watch the...
Yeah, he sees it
the
shoot
launch.
off.
He at least wakes up enough to...
And it was his plan all along to force the new Sam to go.
The gun will work just fine. Because bullets have their... Modern firearms have their own oxidants in the gunpowder, so it will shoot just fine on the moon.
Wouldn't it slow it down, though? No, I guess it would just stay in...
It would actually go further.
It would stay in motion.
Yeah.
It would be much more dangerous.
Yeah, unless they... So if they did shoot it, some planet, like...
Well, I mean, the moon's gravity would catch it eventually, but it would travel further than it does on Earth.
But yeah, you're right, Jason. They walk up there, and they're not there to save anyone because they're locked and loaded.
Yeah.
And ready to throw down.
Yeah. Let's see.
And it basically just kind of fades from there. We just see this funny scene of New Sam whooping.
Yeah.
I guess he's pulling some G's in the thing, in the drone flying back home. And it just basically shows him going to Earth, and then we get the overlay, like some sound overlay.
We get some audio.
We get some more like TV footage kind of thing.
Yeah. And it basically is giving you kind of what happens after Sam gets home. And Sam has gone straight to the authorities, essentially, and is like...
Yep, revealed everything.
Told everything. And then the final note that it ends on hasn't changed since 2009. Some dude on a call-in show is basically like, he's either fucking delusional or an illegal alien.
Yeah, he's lying. Yeah.
And that's basically the end of the film.
But aren't we told also that like the stocks are doing bad
like
now?
down 30% or
crashing.
something. Yeah. So he's basically trying to bring them down. But that's, I mean, you don't really need much more closure than that. I think
it would have been a mistake to actually show him on Earth.
Yeah,
it was a very
right,
smart
yeah,
choice.
No,
I do too. I don't think that would have been part of the story.
I agree.
So,
Very fucking compelling movie. Just
Yeah.
the idea of it, the execution of it,
Yeah.
man.
I think what made the waves when it first came out was like, oh, it's a one man movie. They don't do this very much. It's a low budget sci-fi, which is also something they don't do anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I got a bunch of notes. You guys want?
Sure, do it, man. Go for it.
We'll rifle through these quick. It was Duncan Jones' directorial debut. Hell of a first feature.
Yeah.
He stated in interviews he really wanted to pay homage to some of his favorite films of his youth that were science fiction. He name dropped Silent Running, Alien, and Outland.
Yeah, in Silent Running you get because it's like one lone character. All he has are like robots for friends. Alien, the whole kind of rundown corporate.
Yeah, the weird it is the future, but it's also like low tech future.
Yeah, and also there's this like omnipresent company,
The corporation.
And Outland has the whole countdown thing. I don't know if you ever saw Outland. It's basically
never
a remake.
have.
It's a remake of High Noon in Space.
Oh, cool.
So Sean Connery's this marshal, and there's these thugs coming in so much time, and he's like, "What am I gonna do?"
Which one's the one where Sean Connery wears that?
Zardoz, the red diaper.
Yeah.
It's a very different film.
No.
Some more stuff that the director has said about this. He said it was his intent to write for a science fiction literate audience. He wanted to make a film that would be appreciated by people like himself and that loved the sort of films that he grew up on
Hey, that's
in
us.
that genre. Yeah, so
He's
yeah.
talking about us.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
He also went on to say, we wanted to create something which felt comfortable within the canon of these types of science fiction films from the late 70s to early 80s. For me, the moon has a weird mythic nature to it. There is still a mystery there after all these years. As a location, it bridges the gap between science fiction and science fact. We as humankind have been there. It is something so close and so plausible, and yet at the same time, we really honestly don't know that much about it.
Yeah.
I still think of that dude I gave an Uber ride to. Like 5 minutes into the ride, he's like, "Nah, man, the moon's hollow. That's a space station."
I've heard
I'm
that
like,
one before, yeah.
Fucking excuse me.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
He's like, no, they're watching us.
When
from
did you
up
pick
there."
up Alec Guinness? That's weird.
Yeah, I've seen this stuff too where they say there's the constructed facilities on the moon, in the dark side of the moon.
This dude
Yeah.
bought that
Jesus
hook, line, and sinker, man. He was all in on that. And I kind of wish that I wasn't driving him like an hour away.
It was filmed in 33 days. Pretty
That's a tight
fast
shoot.
production.
Yeah.
Apparently, Duncan Jones actually wrote the main central part of Sam Bell for Sam Rockwell. There was another thing that Jones was working on that didn't really pop off, and he really wanted Sam Rockwell for it, but it didn't pan out. And he kind of had that thought in his mind, like from that point forward, like I want to work with him. I want him to be the star in one of my films.
I mean,
let's
he
see.
didn't star in Warcraft, so that's really the only other thing he's done.
A little Kevin Spacey fact, I guess? Yeah, question mark. He read the script and he was interested in the idea of voicing Gertie, but he said, make the film, shoot it entirely, and then I'm going to watch it and see how I feel about it. Which they did, and he loved it so much that he went in and recorded all his lines in half a day.
Well.
Just shot through the whole thing.
That's a little bit of an arrogant asshole move, though.
Yeah.
You know, like,
We should have seen the signs.
Let me see if it's worth my time.
yeah, I mean, that's bullshit. Like, you read the script, you talk to the director, you find out, do I want to work with this person, and do I trust their vision to do this?
But he, at the time, was a big name, and this is a first feature with a $5 million budget. So I can kind of see.
Yeah, I get it,
That
but it
angle.
doesn't make him any less of an assless.
Well, he's an asshole for far greater reasons. Than,
Yeah.
Michael, you had mentioned the models used for a lot of the outdoor shots. Filming all of that took 8 days.
Cool.
Of them like adjusting and positioning and everything.
And he got Bill Pearson to work on that, the model maker for Alien.
Yeah.
Helped design
nice.
them.
When they finished the film, they actually presented it at NASA at like a little conference thing there. And one of the things they asked him about in the Q&A was about the design of the bunker and why he kind of designed it to look that way. And he said that he was trying to think about how this would all, work conceptually in the future if it was a thing that would actually like be logically to exist. And he said that he thought that when you went there to like build a facility, it would be foolish to ship all the materials up there And so instead you would like dig out of the moon itself and construct something to make that habitat. And one of the NASA personnel that was there brought up to him that like one of the theories they were working on in like a project was to this idea of mooncrete, which was that they would take materials from the moon and make a concrete-like substance.
Yeah. I read that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we can buy that dude's moon rocks on Facebook Marketplace and see how we can make our own mooncrete.
Oh, this is a really fun one. I definitely had to mention this one. To cut down on the production costs with their tight budget, Jones was able to reuse several set pieces from an abandoned movie set that the BBC had for the sci-fi comedy Red Dwarf.
Yeah, it's a serious Red Dwarf, which I've never seen. All the sci-fi geeks love
It's
it.
very
hilarious.
beloved, yeah.
And the sleeping quarters and that corridor that leads up to the secret chamber, those were sets from Red Dwarf.
That's cool.
I'll have to break down and watch that.
It's fun. It has almost like a Douglas Adams-y vibe to
Right.
it, but it's not like his level, but
Yeah.
close. Let's see. It won a bunch of awards, which is cool. A lot of nominations. It got the Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation in 2010. It's cool. And then a scientific journal, Cognitive Sciences, in 2013, they did an issue about what they called the top brain science movies of all time. Now, these were movies that were like science fiction focused, but they would rank them on kind of like how plausible it was, how much they tried to like attempt to be accurate and such. And Moon was number 5 in their top 10 for quality of film, number 9 on accuracy, and number 3 for relevance, as far as like how important the ideas were in it to the potential future.
Awesome.
I think it's interesting where we've shifted now as a society that now it would 100% be AI.
Yeah.
You know, like that would just basically do that job and we would automate it instead of
Yeah,
using
it would be
humans for
fully
it.
automated, I think, yeah.
But it does lend the question though, like as smart as AI is, don't you need somebody there in case
Yeah.
it fails?
Humans are probably cheaper.
And, yeah, and it would if they would actually do cloning technology.
If you
that
just
would-
recycle the same human over and over,
and you
why
could
not?
you could. The sad thing is it's no stretch to think of a corporation doing this.
Oh, no.
Like it's just
Easily.
immediately like, oh yeah, I buy that.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
over
doing-
10 years later, and we got child labor again. You know,
They're doing shit like that now.
Bezos is like, wait, you mean I can make them and put them in there? Like I don't
yeah.
have to hire them.
And just think about like someone sat in a business meeting and they were like, why don't we just clone the original guy and we don't have to pay to train anyone?
yeah.
Greg, what are you talking about? That's a brilliant idea.
How much
Greg.
money do you cut out having to ferry them back and forth? Even if it is 3 years, that's still expensive.
And
Just
then
keep them there and just keep yourself.
The general thing of what if you get someone that doesn't work out and now you've invested all that money to train
Yeah.
them and send them up there and then you have to bring someone else in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe a future corporation would do this. I believe a present-day corporation would do this if they had the technology.
Yeah.
100%. I got 2 more things. The helium-3, that's the big energy source. I wanted to throw this in there just for my own love of things. In the original Gundam series, what's called the Universal Century, all those shows, helium-3 is actually their primary energy source as well. It's used to make these like fusion reactors that they both use to power everything and also to operate the mobile suits.
Also, it's like they're a proto-matter from Robotech.
And it's actually from a real existing theory. There's I pulled this, so there's a lot of speculation about the possibility of helium-3 in the future as an energy source. Unlike most nuclear fusion reactions, the fusion of helium-3 atoms release large amounts of energy without causing the surrounding material to become radioactive. So the potential idea, and actually what they even do in Gundam, is that it's this, you're basically getting nuclear power with none of the dangers,
It's kind of a code fusion, basically.
which is really compelling, interesting idea. And for Gundam, that becomes like a core of their entire story of like, there becomes like conflict over that. Later in like subsequent shows, there's this thing about the Jupiter Empire, and they have like a hold on the trade of helium-3. And that's actually existing, like, where are there deposits of helium-3? There's a great deposit on the moon, which obviously fed into this film. But the greatest deposits in our solar system are actually out where the gas giant planets are.
Okay.
And Jupiter is one of the most prominent ones.
Cool.
So I love when, like, this could be a thing,
Yeah.
potential
theoretical
science.
possibility.
Yeah, it gets, like, weaved into a story that way.
Neat.
And last thing, this film, again, it sets up this big universe that we only get a slice of. And they've made more additions to it. So we got in 2018 a film called Mute, and it came out direct to Netflix.
I never fucking heard of this movie.
Me either.
I
I read
actually
this.
I didn't know that's what it was, and I did watch it.
Uh-oh. Heard it's terrible.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, the reviews are just oof.
Apparently, it was his Blade Runner, basically.
Yeah, it was very Blade Runner-esque. To break it down, it wasn't a direct sequel. It was just another film in that universe and kind of gave you a look at what life's like on Earth. And it followed a mute bartender who dealt with criminal elements in his city as he searched for his missing love interest. And it was kind of this neo-noir future tale. And while it's not a sequel to Moon, there is a little head nod. There's a scene where we get a TV broadcast in the background, and it shows this courtroom, and they're doing a trial over this lunar corporation, and there's multiple Sams present.
That's hilarious.
And they're giving their testimony about everything.
That's fun.
So that's a nice little coda in a way to that. There was a third film planned, and I guess it didn't pop off because it seems like Mute didn't go so well. But they made it into a graphic novel that came out in 2020 called Maddie, Once Upon a Time in the Future. So if you see this film and you really dig it and you want more of that world, there's more you can go to.
Can't attest to the quality.
Yeah, we don't know about the quality,
I just don't know if it needs a world.
No, probably not.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it's if you can work it in, it's a cute little Easter egg. But yeah, as far as like a functioning,
I see a creator liking the sandbox that they're playing in, and want to keep doing it, but not everything needs a world.
No,
not at all.
All right. So
it had a budget of $5 million, only made $9.8 million. I'm sure the advertising on this probably wasn't astronomical.
No, I can see it being one of those things where people saw the trailer and it's like it's not a big action movie.
Yeah, so it probably really didn't. Common wisdom is a movie has to make twice its budget to even break even. So I have a feeling.
I wonder what it's made now, though. I mean, honestly, wait till after this episode drops. It's just gonna.
Yeah, man.
You overestimate our power.
Wait, Sam Rockwell's gonna call me and be like, "Thanks for the royalty checks,
man.
buddy." Yeah, which I was wrong. I thought this was streaming for free, so I actually had to pay for this.
I did as well.
Yeah, I got it on Amazon.
And I do not regret it.
No, it's worth a $5 rental or whatever it was.
So I guess that leads us into your thoughts on the film. Which I think we've been pretty candid that we all liked it, but it's a matter of how much did we like it.
How much did we like it?
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'll go first since it was my pick.
It was your pick.
I mean, you liked it.
I hadn't seen this since probably 2009. I had actually just met my wife at the time, and she had a pirated copy.
Nice.
Well, because I don't think it was out. Like I don't think you could really buy it yet. So she heard about it and was like, "We should watch this." And I remember at the time I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good." And then it's always stuck with me.
Right.
Like I've always thought about this movie when I think about sci-fi films. And there's kind of like a category I'd put this in, like of the sci-fi films, and it was ones that I was leaning towards anyway. Like other ones that popped in my head were like Ex Machina.
Oh god, yeah, I love that.
Which is so good, but I feel like a lot of people have probably seen that.
I mean, it won awards, right?
Yeah.
Like bigger
I
ones.
haven't watched that one yet.
Oh
You
man,
fucker.
I don't know how. I just haven't gotten around to it.
no, that one's great. And then like Annihilation.
It's also Alex Garland.
Yeah. Basically like okay, let's look
Pretty
at
much
Alex
me on
Garland
that.
movies, sci-fi movies.
I love Annihilation.
Those kind of movies are in my head, and I don't know. I think this one kind of falls in that same feeling for me.
Big ideas, big questions.
yeah, it's closer to the hard sci-fi category than,
Yeah, one it made me really think of, like, going to novels, because I made a lot of novel references last time, is Heinlein has one, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, that's about, like, workers on the moon, and they lead a revolt. And this was kind of giving me shades of that a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Andy Weir has a new one called Artemis, the guy who wrote The Martian.
Nice.
I started it. It's pretty good, but it's kind of... I like those kind of moon theories, too, of like...
They're hollow and have bases on the dark
No,
side.
I really... I don't know. I just kind of dig the whole... I shouldn't dig it because it's depressing, but the whole like corporations doing their thing of like, okay, well, the moon is the next place we should go, right? Because we've just used up everything we have here, so let's go there. I like that sandbox that
Sure.
people like to play in. But Sam Rockwell's performance has always stood out to me for this. I think he's this movie is what made me watch things that he's in, that I get excited when I see his name on something.
Yeah.
Is because of this movie.
He carries it.
I sit at a solid 4.5.
Nice.
I don't think I can give it a 5.
Let me ask, what's holding back that 0.5?
You know,
No
I don't.
boobies.
And only Sam
Only his
Rockwell's
butt.
butt.
No, if he turned around.
You needed the turnaround, right?
I've seen everything. It's too late. I honestly don't know what's holding me back on it.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Well, you know, I think I
Kevin
do.
Spacey.
I think it is. I think it is. I think it's hard for me to give this a 5 just because, and we talk about this all the time, like,
Disassociate the art from
can you
work,
disassociate it? I
artists.
cannot.
Right.
I
Go-
can't.
go with what you're comfortable with.
It's always going to taint that for me. So, like,
He said taint.
as good as the fucking Usual Suspects is, now you got Bryan Singer, who's a fucking asshole, and you've got Kevin Spacey, who's a fucking asshole.
It's almost impossible to watch that movie.
Yeah, you're like, God damn it! Was everyone in this movie a piece of shit?
I think Gabriel Byrne's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's
Benicio
okay.
del Toro, he's cool.
Yeah.
For now.
Everybody else, fuck them.
I do question the accent he gave himself or the little speech impediment he gave himself in The Last Jedi, but you know, because apparently that
Kevin
was,
Pollak was in Usual Suspects.
Oh, he's great.
He's cool.
yeah, Kevin Pollak's great. You can't deny him.
4.5 for that, I say, is fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. There's a reason that I brought it.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
I've seen it before, so I'll go ahead and give my summary. I'm same as you. I saw it. It kind of stuck in my head. It's one of those things I always thought about whenever I thought about, good, hard sci-fi type movies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Sam Rockwell it's his movie. This is his. It's a showcase. A lesser actor, it wouldn't have been nearly as compelling.
No. It would have been forgotten, probably.
Defoe could have done it.
Defoe could have done it.
Well, what can Defoe not do, though?
Right.
And he's done butt shots before, so
The direction is good. I mean, it's fairly pedestrian, but that's also the point. It's supposed to be. He's invoking that whole almost documentary cinema verite style of the 70s.
Yeah, that even builds the atmosphere in a way.
Right. Yeah, it's a good, compelling story. And it raises questions about identity and self and corporate greed, which will never go away. I can't do 4.5 stars.
Uh-oh.
I could do 4 stars. I'll give it 4 stars.
I knew you were not a 4.5 on this one.
All right, where's that star? Is it Kevin Spacey?
I think as good as it is, it doesn't get to that classic level. I don't think this is ever going to be like 2001's 5 stars.
Right.
And this is as good as it is. It's not a 2001.
I think there's a tension lost somewhere too. I don't think there's enough tension. Like it's
Could be.
there, but it's not the tension like 2001.
I think it's because you expect Gertie to turn against Sam, but then
I'm glad they don't go that route because that's the
It's
obvious.
been done. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, they would never have topped Hal.
You keep expecting it with Kevin Spacey voicing him. I mean, any minute now. Oh my god.
And that is an interesting thing about like things that happen, and now we go back to watch a film, and like reality has colored our perception. Because I the whole time was like, all right, when is he just going to be like, I can't let you do that, Sam?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to touch your weenie. Sam.
One final note I want to make is that we're all fans of like indie RPGs, right? And the RPG Death in Space,
yes.
the cover, the poster of Moon. Well, I guess the cover of Death in Space reminds me of the poster of Moon.
That's fair. I didn't think about that.
I think
until
it's
you
supposed
just
to
said
be a
that.
reference because the game you're talking about, which we need to play it. We have
We
it.
do.
We
We
haven't
need to
played it
play
yet,
it.
but it is that like very corporate. You're like in space. The universe is uncaring,
Everything's run down and
Yeah. alien-esque without the aliens
Yeah.
front and center. Cool.
So, what did you think, man?
So this was the first watch for me. I've had this movie highly recommended to me, like God, so many times. Like constantly, people were like, "Have you seen Moon? You should see Moon." And it's not that I didn't want to watch it. It was kind of just one of those things like,
We got so many fucking movies.
Yeah,
to
I never-
I'll watch
had-
you when I get time.
I never had the compulsion to watch it. So when you picked this, I was like, dude, this is great. I can finally check this off my list. And I fucking loved it, man. Like it was so good. Like all the things he was referencing, 2001, Alien,
Yeah.
all kind of the films he was like, I was trying to make these. I love all of those. I think this is like a worthy kind of in that vein of a type of sci-fi film. I love that it's the kind that it's very heady. It's asking big questions. It's using science fiction to comment about our current society and things that are going on with corporate greed, corporate corruption. I think that for the small budget, they killed it on the effects and the visuals and the way everything looks.
Sure.
If you just cold asked me and I hadn't done the research and you would say, Dustin, how much do you think, like what was the budget of this movie? I would assume it is much higher than $5 million. There's no way I could imagine they made it for $5 million. But they did, and I think that's a testament to how talented the whole cast and crew are.
Yeah.
in the production and the creation to get these kind of visuals and this look on that sort of budget.
That's what happens when you plan. You actually have a vision.
Yes, and an idea, and you're not just shitting something out because you already have like a deadline.
Somehow.
Somehow Sam Rockwell returned.
The plot, I love the plot. I thought it was perfect. It's very Twilight Zoney, and then it gets super deep. And it's just so high concept, so cool, such an interesting idea. This is like that sci-fi literary style, like realized into film. And I fucking loved it. And I am, of the three of us, the one that is the most, like, I can just cut off any kind of real world thing and just like go with the film. So when I hit Letterboxd and I pressed my little stars and hit submit, I gave it 5 stars.
Whoa!
And I will
5-star movie.
agree with you, Jason. I don't think it is 2001, and I would say 2001 for me is a 5-star film, but I think, to me, they can both be 5 stars for different reasons and different aspects that I appreciate.
Sure. Fair enough.
So killer fucking pick, Michael.
Awesome. I always look at like rewatchability of something. Like something can be a one-time 5-star movie,
Sure.
and then I'll never watch it again. But after watching this a second time, I realized that I could watch it
a lot
more. I could watch it.
Yeah, I can revisit it every 5-10 years or something.
You know, like, and I'm sure that each time you watch, you pick up something different, which I kind of like. That it's each time. I love those little Easter egg things that you can pop in there and see something new each time you watch it.
Now, am I compelled to go on and check out the rest of the Moonverse? No.
I watched
really.
Mute, man. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember jack shit about it.
That tells you everything you need to know right there.
Well, so it did come out, Mute did come out right around, I want to say, Hold the Dark. Because Skarsgård was in it, and I was like, oh, I should watch it. I like Skarsgård. I just really liked what he did in Hold the Dark.
He's having a moment.
So I should watch this. And then I was like, oh.
Uh-oh.
But it is also kind of hanging around that Altered Carbon time,
There
too.
seems to be like a lot of cyberpunk type stuff out around the time.
And that doesn't make sense to me. Like, this Moon doesn't feel like a cyberpunk.
No.
Well, we don't know what's going on Earth. You know,
That is true, but...
Well, but based on that ad at the beginning of the film, you do, in a way.
How old's that at?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
That could have been when they first made the base.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just nothing about Moon felt cyberpunk to me.
Well,
which
I didn't see any Scott Brown realty signs anywhere on the moon.
Scott Brown, motherfucker.
Get the fuck out!
And now I got to put that in the show notes. Yay.
Yay!
My thought about it was I watched the trailer from Mute. I read the synopsis, and I was like, this sounds nothing like Moon at all in any way, shape, or form, other than there's the little cameo.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the graphic novel now.
Yeah, that might be good, because sometimes when you get a weird situation like a film that doesn't do well, when you continue the idea to a graphic novel or that format, you can kind of...
Might be more successful.
Yeah.
Unless it's Buffy, which, you know, you just fucking stop.
This is not the show I love. Fuck you. Okay.
All right, well, I'm happy to come back on a high note. And
We're very happy to have you back.
Great
man.
episode.
Especially with a good
great
movie.
pop back in for you, and you fucking killed it with a great film.
thank you. I mean, you all just keep picking shit, so
Yeah,
somebody's
you have to come in and save us.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to come in and...
Raising the bar, making it me really stress out now over here.
Uh-oh. Speaking of.
So we've got one more sci-fi film to do. And Jason, you gave us a vision of the future of a post-apocalypse. Michael, you took us to the future where we're focused on space and corporate greed and energy issues. So I thought the best way to go forward was to also focus on another type of potential future that's neither of those two. So we get a little bit of a breadth through all the things that sci-fi can be. And so I'm going to go a little cyberpunk on us.
All right.
And of course, I also have to bring a Japanese film.
Of course.
So here we go. We're going to go with one of my all-time favorite directors, Mamoru Oshii, and his 2001 film, a Polish-Japanese co-production, Avalon.
Avalon.
I felt like there was a big lead up, and there should be a sound effect right there.
If we did trailers, that's where the trailer would cut in, but we don't do that. So
This guy hasn't sexually assaulted anybody that you know of, has he?
to my knowledge, no. And
Okay, cool. Well,
if
I mean, he's
you're-
Japanese. Let's play the odds.
if you're anime savvy, you're
was a
gonna.
joke.
shit!
That was a joke.
Holy shit!
That was a
Uh-oh.
joke.
I don't feel so
We
bad
all
about my.
love the Japanese.
I don't feel so bad about my Ezra Miller snafu now.
I mean, you only got a pronoun wrong. Jason insulted an entire nation of people.
An entire nation I adore.
Well, join us in the next episode as Michael and me continue the show.
I'm apparently back now. So
Hoth can take my place.
No, I don't want to say too much about this other than we're getting a future where there's this very immersive virtual reality world that you jack into. That's the term.
oh, Jason jacks into
Wow.
an immersive world all the time.
Okay, we're talking cyberpunk, so that's what you say.
No,
You jack in. Yes, and it focuses on this.
He's jacking in right now.
It focuses on this sort of semi-legal virtual reality video game, sort of
Can
like
you knock it off?
sort of like a MMORPG almost in a way.
Okay.
So
Is this easily accessible? Do we have to like pirate anything?
So
for
I was
this?
worried about that because it was very preeminent in my mind, and I was like, I need to make sure people can actually get to this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is currently streaming on. Shit, I had it up and now it went away. We can cut this out. It's okay.
I should probably cut my Japanese joke out too.
No,
Somebody get the
saying-
damn hose. He's still jacking in over here.
Hold on.
How do you spell it? A-V-E?
JACK.
LON, like Avalon, like the Arthurian legend Avalon.
It's not coming up on Just Watch.
Well, just watch fucking Lies anyway.
Okay.
So.
You can stream it on Paramount Plus.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, I was worried about the availability, but the thing is this film got licensed by Miramax back in the day and got a release over here on DVD. I actually have the DVD.
So you can thank Harvey Weinstein.
I
for
was
that.
Yeah, I can't watch it
worried.
now. It's association with Miramax.
Man, it is, movies in 2023, it's like you're walking through a fucking minefield. You can't win. Everybody sucks. Go watch a damn movie. Yeah, but Paramount Plus, you can rent on Amazon too, I think.
You think you just broke him? I think he broke.
Avalon. We'll get into it.
Awesome. I look forward to it, my friend.
Cool. Well, this is bringing us to the end of another episode. So as usual, you can reach out to us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Send us an email at genreexposure@gmail.com. We want to know what sci-fi movies you like and that you think are cool, and maybe leave us a film recommendation. Because every time we finish a block, we always check out a film that you guys are telling us to look into, covering it, doing a good time, checking out some interesting films that maybe aren't on our radar.
Yeah, send us something we really jack into.
Send us some more cyberpunk films so Jason can jack into them. And now, if you send us one and we use it for an episode, if you are willing and want one, we will mail you a super cool Genre Exposure sticker.
You'll be the envy of all of your friends.
Be the envy of all of your friends. They will ask you how to get them, and you will say, go and recommend a movie to Genre Exposure.
Give up all your personal information.
They definitely won't show up at your house with a copy of Spookies and Winter Beast, subject you to some terrible films, and awkwardly stare at you the whole time.
Definitely not.
Hopefully, they'll fucking dance.
And we'll do our intermission dance for you as well.
Yeah.
Don't send them your address. Get a PO box. It'll be the most expensive sticker you've ever got because you have to get a PO box just to hide it in a different town.
And as we say, it is totally voluntary, so if you're not cool with that, it's perfectly fine to decline.
We understand.
We understand.
You don't know who we are.
Gotcha. Michael, would you like to do the outro since
Do
you're
it,
back?
man. Yeah.
What did it say? What do I say?
Just tell them to go to all the socials and stuff.
Whatever you want to say.
Oh, you already did that.
Oh, you did that. And
Well, just say you're going to be back again sometime soon, and you look forward to connecting with our audience again.
Okay, hold on. It's been absolutely phenomenal talking with you guys today. Thank you so much for having me back as your special guest here on Genre Exposure. As Dustin said, you can reach out to us on all your socials. Send a raven, which I don't think anyone's done yet.
Not yet.
they're not getting here for some reason.
There's a lot of dead ravens somewhere. But until next time, I'll pop back in at some point.
Damn
Hell
right
yeah.
you will.
Whenever you guys start sucking it up again and you need a good movie,
That shouldn't take long.
I'll pop back in.
Really
and-
boost our numbers.
Yeah. There's 2 more people listening. The 2 that dropped out when I left.
Yes.
They're like, oh, Michael's back. I'll listen to this one. Nah, he's fucking gone again. All right. All right. Well, as always, you have been listening to Genre Exposure.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.